My name is naturally Dr. Tash, and I'm all about the health because nothing is as good as healthy feels. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you've tuned in. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please click on the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell, you guys, to get my updates when I upload. So guys, as you have judged by the title of this video, I'm going to be answering some of your frequently asked questions about studying MBBS in China. Okay, lately I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram and Facebook pertaining medicine. Okay, a lot of people are asking me a lot of the same questions about how to get into medicine, how to apply for medicine overseas, how to apply for medicine in China. So you guys, I thought that I should start a medical series. Actually, there actually is a playlist already up on my channel called The Medical Series. So if you're interested in any of my medical related videos, then that playlist is just for you. Alright guys, so I'm gonna get straight into it. I've compiled the list of questions that I've been getting in my DMs on Instagram, some on Facebook, and I'm gonna be answering some of those questions in this video. As the medical series continues, I will be able to answer more of the questions that you have directed towards me. Alright, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so the first question, you guys, that I have here is, how does medicine in China work? Do you get taught in English? Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of a background. I am studying an MBBS English medium, okay, in China. So basically MBBS stands for Bachelor of Medicine and a Bachelor of Surgery. Okay, so this is equivalent to an MBCHB. So that is basically for those countries that follow the UK curriculum, such as South Africa. I know that South Africa follows an MBCHB curriculum. So MBBS and MBCHB are equivalent. So I'm studying that. Yes, in an English medium. So in China, there are two ways to study medicine. Okay, you can study medicine in English and you can study medicine in Chinese. My personal advice, study medicine in English, okay? Don't study medicine in Chinese if you don't have to. I know there's a lot of people that have gotten into studying medicine in Chinese because of scholarship situations and all of that. But if you don't have to, my personal opinion is to avoid it, okay? Medicine is challenging as it is. So if you have the opportunity to study it in English, please study it in English. Right, so how the medicine in China works. So medicine in China is 6 years, okay? So there's 5 years of schooling. So that's 5 years of attending school, and then there's a 1 year of internship. The first 2 years of medical school in China basically focuses on your preclinical subjects. So you'll be doing a lot of your anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, all those non-clinical subjects. And then from your 3rd year onwards, so 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, you start to do more clinical based subjects, okay? So things like your internal medicine, obstetrics and gynae, your surgeries, the list goes on, okay? So that is basically how medicine in China is divided. So in your 3rd, 4th and 5th year, you do get to go to the hospital, you get to interact with patients, and also you get taught within the affiliated hospitals of your university. So after 5 years of schooling, after you've completed your 5th year, then there is a year that they basically call internship. Okay, so in this you are practically solely based in the hospital, practically working in the hospital without a pay. So yeah, this is what they call internship over here in China. So basically after this year, then you'll practically be done with medical school, and then you'll be eligible to write the appropriate exams to say that you have completed your MBBS degree. Okay, so another question that I got is why I didn't do my medical schooling back home. Okay guys, so I have actually uploaded a couple of videos about this topic. If you want to find out more about my journey, I will leave the link of these videos down in the description, or I will, just put them up in that box, and you can actually click on those videos to get to know how I actually came to study medicine in China and my journey, and all of that. All those videos explain all of that, so please go and watch those videos. Okay, so the next question, moving right along. Do you go to hospital during your schooling years in China? Okay, so somebody asked me that, and the answer is yes, you do go to hospital. As I have mentioned, the first 2 years is preclinical. Then from 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, you start going to hospitals, you start interacting with patients and so forth. So yes, you do go to hospital, and then of course you have that 1 year of internship, which is in your 6th year, which is basically where you are just solely now in the hospital, working in the hospital. So yes, you do get to go to hospital in China. Okay, so the next question, somebody asked me, do you plan on working in China after studying? No, I personally do not plan on working in China. I plan on working in other parts of the world. So no, I'm not going to be working in China after my study. In your opinion, what is the difference between studying medicine abroad and back home? Okay, so in my personal opinion and from experience, also just from talking to people who actually study medicine back in my country, which is South Africa, I think medicine is very relative. Medicine is taught relative to the place that you find yourself in. So my personal opinion, or what I think, is that if you are a medical student who has the opportunity to study medicine in their own country, I think you might be at a slight advantage, in the sense that medical students who tend to study medicine in their country have a little bit more hands-on clinical experience. Okay, so whereas studying medicine abroad, or for example where I am at, I can speak from where I am at, studying medicine in China, okay, so something like drawing bloods. Yes, you will get taught, about drawing blood, and you will of course experience it in your practicals and your practical sessions, but it's something that is not emphasized on, okay, because here in China, something like taking blood is not necessarily the doctor's job, okay? The nurses get to do that. But for example, back home, it is quite likely that, a doctor will be required to, take blood from a patient. So that's why I'm saying medicine is really relative. It's relatively taught to really the area, the country that you find yourself in. So if you are going to be studying medicine abroad, I think the best thing to do is to have that in mind, and of course, knowing where you actually want to work in the future, you have to have that in mind to be able to bridge those little gaps. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so the next question is about, do you pay your own tuition fees, or are you on scholarship, or do you have a bursary? Okay, so this is one thing that I have found that a lot of people have inboxed me about. For example, I know where I come from in South Africa, there's something called bursaries, which is mostly afforded to people who, number one, I think have, a good academic standing, and sometimes number two, there are governmental bursaries that fund people who can't afford going to school, and also, have a relatively good academic standing. Okay, but in China, there is no such thing as a bursary. Over here we have scholarships, which work slightly different. There are different types of scholarships. So the provincial scholarships, academic scholarships, which are awarded to people who do well academically, you know, throughout their medical school years. And you know, I've had the privilege to receive actually 2 of those scholarships during my medical studies, those academic scholarships. But if you're looking to apply for scholarships, my advice I think would to be do your research, okay, on the scholarship, where it's coming from. And a lot of the time what I have found is that you actually have to pay for not necessarily the scholarship, but there has to be some sort of money transaction when it comes to scholarships in China. So please just make sure that if you are going to go the scholarship route, you do thorough research, okay? The last thing you want to do is get scammed, okay? Just know where the scholarship is coming from and make sure that it is 100% legitimate. But as for me, I do not have a scholarship. I actually pay my own fees, or have paid my own fees over the years. My personal fees at the university that I'm at is 20,500 RMB or yuan per year. So that is excluding other extra costs like accommodation and visa, insurance, and you know, all those other things. Next question. Do you have to learn? The answer is yes, of course you have to learn Chinese. You cannot stay in a foreign country and not know a little bit of their language. So in the MBBS English medium, and I think of course in the Chinese medium, you do get taught Chinese. Where I am, in my university, we got taught Chinese language. Was it for 2.5 years? And then from second year, second semester, you start getting taught medical Chinese. Okay, so those are 2 separate things. Chinese language and medical Chinese are 2 separate things. Okay, medical Chinese, it's basically medical terms in Chinese. So basically they teach you medical Chinese so that when you actually do start going to hospital from your 3rd year onwards, you have a little bit of medical Chinese knowledge to back up your medical experience within the hospital. So yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't take that seriously. From my personal advice, I think it is very important, especially from your 3rd year onwards. And also if you are going to consider doing your internship within China, it is very vital to learn your medical Chinese terms, because yes, in the hospitals, you would find the doctors can speak some level of English. Some have a higher degree of English speaking than others, but the reality is that the patients in China probably won't even know, you know, a word of English. So you're gonna have to communicate with your patients in Chinese. So it is important to learn Chinese. Okay, so somebody asked me, how is the MBBS program in China? Okay, my honest opinion, I feel like the MBBS program in China is okay. I won't lie, there have been moments in my schooling years where I felt like, wow, why have I attended this class? Because it is common to get, you know, communication barriers. Okay, sometimes there are really good teachers that can speak really good English, and sometimes you'll get teachers that really just can't express themselves in English, and yet they are teaching English classes. But I feel like the language problem is universal. I have spoken to a couple of students from across the world, Russia and Cuba to be exact, and they have actually shared the same sentiments, you know. So I think that language will be a problem everywhere that you go, especially if you know, studying medicine abroad, like outside of your country. You are going to experience some sort of a communication barrier. That's not to say that you shouldn't take your studies seriously. In fact, you should actually push yourself more to want to learn those subjects where you have the bad teachers and all of that. Do not be complacent and pay as much as attention as you can in class. The next question is, where do you plan on doing your internship? This one has quite frankly been a difficult one because some schools in China do allow you to do internship outside of China, so you can opt to actually go back home and do your internship, and which would be a wise decision, you know. But at this point, I'm not quite sure how that is going to work with the coronavirus and that. So that one I cannot really answer. It will really depend on the circumstances of the world. I mean, the world is in a pandemic right now. A lot of things are on standstill. So yeah. What is your overall review about medicine in China? Okay, well, somebody asked me that, and I'm gonna use this as a closing question. So my overall review, you guys, about studying medicine in China, I think medicine is relative. Okay, as much as it is relative to the country you find yourself in, I think that medicine is also relative to the individual. I am not going to have the same experience as the person that is next door. Okay, so I think that studying medicine abroad, and not just in China, whether you find yourself in Russia, Ukraine, India, you name it, even back home, the experience of studying medicine is going to be relative to the individual. Okay, I think it's going to depend on your willingness to learn as a person, and it's going to depend on how much you push yourself. Okay, I say that because when I came to China, there were some people who would be like, oh my gosh, okay, well, in China you don't really learn and stuff. But then I also met people who were like, you know what, I've actually learned a lot being here. Okay, I don't think that I have wasted my time or anything like that. I've learned a lot. So it's gonna depend on you and you alone. Okay, so one thing that I can tell you is that, you know, the professors and the doctors over here, they are very hardworking. And with that said, with them being hardworking, they don't really push anybody to do anything, right? So with that said, I feel that it is very easy for an individual to get complacent and just be chilled and relaxed, and also get distracted about what they actually came here to do. So my overall advice, if you do choose to study medicine abroad, you should know that there is a lot of freedom. There is nobody that is going to be like, why are you not in class? Why didn't you go to this lecture? Why didn't you attend the hospital? And all of that. Everything is going to be up to you and your discipline. So my final words are, you need to keep a level head, okay? Begin with the end in mind. Know why you came and push yourself, okay? Study harder than your peers. Study harder than, you know, just the average person. And avoid those distractions. I've literally had people telling me about how scarce I am and stuff, you know, going outside, having a social life. People don't really see me outside. That is because I choose to focus my energy in things that I know are gonna yield me fruit. I don't see, you know, being in a club every day, or being in a bar every day, or being, you know, having an extravagant social life something that I should invest my time and energy in. And quite frankly, that has really helped me when it came to, you know, doing this medical school thing over the years, because your girl has never failed a module. I have never written a makeup exam, and my medical school career has been smooth because of the fact that I've been able to remain disciplined. I know why I came here, and I have not been distracted in any shape or form. Those are my closing words, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more of these medical series vlogs, as I've mentioned, you can click on the medical series playlist, and I hope to be hearing more from you. If you guys have any more questions regarding, you know, studying medicine abroad or studying medicine in China, please throw them at me and I will answer them on the medical series. Remember that eating well and living well is a form of self-respect, so respect yourself.